648 of sometimes the toughest ocean miles on the planet. It's a race that has claimed lives, but it's a sailing classic that attracts the top professionals and an army of weekend sailors to a tough trip from Australia's most famous backdrop to the small island of Tasmania and the historic port of Hobart.
Well, I think the Rolex Sydney Hobart is one of the world's great classic races. It's like the Fastnet in the Northern Hemisphere. And you know, when you've got a race that's got that reputation, you inevitably want to have a go at it. It's an interesting race, like the Fastnet. It can be very calm or it can be very rough. From our perspective with a slightly heavy boat, I think we'd like it to be rough.
While the 87-strong fleet is made up of boats of all sizes, it's the maxi class that attracts the big attention. And with a forecast of tough conditions out of Sydney, skipper of the four-time winner, Wild Oats, Mark Richards, knows what it takes to have a chance at taking the prestigious Line Honours prize.
Oh, look, it's definitely preparation. It always comes down to preparation. And if we had to put the effort in, last year as this year, which is easy to say, I'm sure it could have been a different story. But c'est la vie, and here we are, and let's hope we can do it this time.
It's an Australian Boxing Day crowd pleaser. The fleet sailing down Sydney Harbour and out into open ocean. But with a forecast for 40 to 50 knots of gale and storm force winds, combined with massive seas likely in the Bass Strait, the crews sailed into the first night with some trepidation. And the forecast was right. Overnight, the fleet was blasted by 40 to 50 knot winds pushing up monstrous seas. And over the next 24 hours, many boats retired with steering damage, torn sails and mechanical problems. Unlucky, but fortunate to escape injury, the crew of Martin Power's 44-footer Bacardi were dismasted 35 miles east of Bateman's Bay. A dramatic end to the race for them. All down the east coast of Australia, boats were reefed down to very small sails, working hard to avoid slamming into the massive waves and suffering structural damage. After the tumultuous battering, the wind went light as Wild Oats 11, which had led the field from the start, led into Hobart, finishing 30 miles ahead of her nearest rival, Sean Langman and Anthony Bell's Super Maxi Investec Royal. Wild Oats sailed in with an elapsed time of 2 days, 7 hours, 37 minutes, 20 seconds. It was 13 hours off the record, but for a crew in a fleet that had been battered so hard for much of the race, it was a relief just to arrive.
You couldn't have asked for a better result, and to arrive here in Hobart first tonight is just the most amazing feeling. You just have to look at the race results and the retirements, and it was a tough race, just like we were expecting. And the boys, Wild Oats and the whole team just did an amazing job, and we've got some tough situations here to get out of, and here we are, first, and it's a fantastic feeling, and it's a hell of a lot better than second, which we experienced last year, but we're back and just very happy to be here.
With 5 wins in 6 years, the top spot has become a familiar place for one of Australia's most famous racing boats.